Hi, this is Tanya again, and this video is part of the Google Core Basics. And what I'm going to be talking about are Google Slides, just the way to get started if you've never used Google Slides before. So here are the things that I'm going to be covering. First, I'm going to show you the navigation, how to get there. There's several places that you can go to get Google Slides to open or to create a new Google slide. I'm also going to show you again the organization of the Google Drive as opposed to the Google Slide app. Then I'm going to show you how you can do some of the basic things like add text and format that text, and then add some images and to change the theme. And I'm also going to kind of introduce another piece to designing it a little bit better. Adding a slide, how you can create the slide to fit the needs or the layout of what you want, how to share it, how to present it, and then we're going to look at the version history. So here we are in Google Drive. This is where I prefer to start, create, open. I navigate Google Drive all the time. The other option is to go up to your waffle up here, and you can select the app that you want. Now, I very rarely go to Docs, Sheets, or Slides, but if I click on Slides, it opens a new tab and it takes you to the Slides area, and it'll just show you slides. I've never started from this place, because I like to organize more directly into my Drive. So in my Drive, here's all my folders, and I'm going to save it or start my Google slide in the YouTube folder. And then I specifically have a practice folder that I've set up. And that practice folder is down here at the bottom. So I open that up, and I can either right click and create a Google slide, either from blank presentation or from template. And we saw that when I went to the Google Slide app page, that the top has all the templates to it. So you can look at those. We can also see my recent presentations and scroll through. It'll kind of list all the ones that I've worked on recently. But like I said, I live in Google Drive. So I could either right click, or I could click on new and then Google Slide. And I can also do the same thing here, blank presentation or from template. So I'm going to go blank. And since I'm sharing this folder with others, it asks me if I want to continue to do that, and I'm okay with that. Now, instantly, it shows me a blank slide in the format, no theme, in no other slides on the left-hand side. So you can see your panel of slides over here. You can see your options for themes on the right-hand side, and then the instruction of how to begin your first slide. So it's pretty intuitive when you jump in here. If I want to be able to search this later in Google Drive, I need to give it a name. So practice YouTube basic slides. So as soon as I do that, I could have also put a title down here and then clicked up on the entitlement it would put there, but I don't want that big of a detailed title slide. So I'm going to type in using slides, and they most generally expect this to be an author kind of thing, but you can put whatever you like there and whatever you choose. Now, the themes over here are limited, and they're not as fun, I guess, as some of the things that do exist out there. So I'm just going to scroll through some of them and show you what happens when you click on them. So if I decide I want this one, it's going to change the font, it's going to change the color scheme. And then, this first one, you're like, oh, that's really nice. You might want to go over here to this plus sign and hit the drop down to see what the other slides are going to be looking like under that theme. There's one that I really like that has a great title page, but when you click on the drop down, it's kind of boring and doesn't have the formatting or the design that I really want there. So you can go through those. They have quite a few, so you might be able to find the one that you want through navigating scrolling through the slides. This is the one that I don't really care for with the bulleted list and the layouts. I always think that the first slide is kind of neat. So maybe towards the end, I will show you a way of finding some other slides that you can use, some slide designs. So I want to add a new slide, and I need to because I've already added the text. And like I said, the themes give you a special format for your color, your size, your, you know, the font that it's using as well. So I'm just going to hit plus. I'm not going to look at this drop down, but I can select what I want. But I'm going to just hit plus, and it's going to add a title slide with textual entry below it. So I can put in here, and like I said, if I want to change, I can either select the box or I can select the text. But if I want it to be bigger, if I want it to be italic, if I want it to be a different color, I can change that stuff if I want, but the theme adds all of that to it. So if I click and change that on all of them, I need to change that on the next slide and the next slide and the next slide to make consistency clear across the entire slideshow. I do want to add an image to this, although I can continue to format text. I could give it, you know, bigger size. Again, you want to make sure that it's selected, and you want to make sure that it's consistent throughout the presentation. So anything that you change, maybe you want to duplicate that slide. Right-click on the slide, duplicate it, and then you'll have that same format for the next slide and the next slide and the next slide. So on this slide, I want to add an image. So I can go into Insert, Image, and it gives you the option of Upload from Computer, Search the Web. I'm just going to search the web. It's going to do the same thing that Google Docs did on the side here. So I can look up llamas, and I can drag it on over, or I could click to insert it as well. It's going to put it in there pretty big, so I'm going to scrunch it down. And all of these tools are very similar throughout. So if I'm in Google Docs, the formatting is pretty much the same as Google Slides. Same with the image editing in Google Slides is the same as and comparable to Google Docs. So when I'm clicking on this, I can even crop it by double clicking on it. I can replace the image. I can format the image with size, position, recolor it, adjustments, drop shadow, reflection. So it allows me to edit that image if I'm on it and select the option up at the top that goes along with it. I can also animate that object that we're in here in the basics. Basically, we just wanted to add an image. So that's what we did. We went through Insert, Image, and Search the Web. And we're able to find that image over here in the panel that we were able to find the image over here in the search option. So I really like this presentation, or I need help on this presentation. Actually, it looks like I need help with it. So I'm going to go over to File, and I can share with a friend to help me collaborate on it. I can also hit the button up here to share, and just like in any of the other Google items, I can go up here and start typing a name and click on it, and now I can share that with Adam. And I can even send him a message, help with this presentation. Okay, so then I would hit send, and it would send him the presentation, giving him editor rights. Also with the message, it would come to him like an email. So that's sharing. The next thing that I would like to do is present it. So up here you have present options that are very similar to PowerPoint, or I can present in presenter view, present from the beginning, or I can present from the slide that I'm on. I'm going to hit present, and it puts it on the slide that I was in. And then of course we have these edit moving options down here. So if I want to go to the next slide, I can do that. I can also select the slide this way. So you have all these options, and I'll talk more about those in the integration video. If you have students collaborating on Google Slides, you can go to the File menu in Version History, and you can see who has been a part of the editing. So if you click that collapse, you can see all of my keystrokes and everything that I've done the entire time from beginning of creating the slide, naming the slide, till up to this point. So if you have 3 or 4 students collaborating on a project, you can see who has contributed certain things based on the version history. Now, as soon as I'm done with version history, I'm going to hit the arrow back, and I'm back to editing my presentation. So I can go File, Version History. That'll take me the revision history so I can see who's made what changes. I can also name these versions to help me understand when those were done, what kind of edits were made, to maybe reference later for a meeting with your boss or a teacher or a student. And then when I'm done, I can hit back here. I can restore a version, and if you restore a version, that version will always exist. Okay, so those are the basics of using the Google Slides. There are a lot of things that you can do with Google Slides, but if you or your students can add in a textual component and alter that textual component through formatting and add another slide and add text to that and add an image, then you pretty much have the basics ready for creating a decent slide. So it's very difficult for me to just do the basics. There's so many things that you can do in Google Slides, so I'm sorry for the hesitation and the bumping around, but all I wanted to show you was that you can create a slide, organize it, put it somewhere else, and then add text to it. Format that text if you want it to change. You don't have to because of the themes and the formatting that happens with that, but also you can add an image to liven it up a little bit. There are many things that the Google Slides can do, and that will be available in the integration video. So I'm going to show you the next level tools. That'll be in a different playlist called the Google Core or Google Next Level or Google Integration piece regarding the Google Core. So this is the final video in this series. If you have any questions, you can look at the details of the playlist, and it'll have my email address in it. But my email is sanders@NWOET.org. It'll also be included on this video as soon as I'm editing it. The other option that you have is you can get contact hours for this presentation, watching this presentation and completing a assessment over these videos. So if you get an 80% or higher on that assessment, then you will be emailed a certificate of completion for how many ever contact hours the series includes. So thank you for joining me in this exploration of the basics of Google Slides, and hopefully I'll see you in some other series.